friends, hope you're whelmed. Today we're taking a closer look at The Witch's Bakery, an enchanting adventure RPG set in Paris. But before we start, I'd like to thank Silver Lining for sending over an early copy of the demo key. The Witch's Bakery team put out a creator call earlier this week, so I emailed them with specific questions about one of the game's characters, Estelle. They were kind enough to send me the demo in return, and I had the best time with it. I played through it twice, and I actually recorded the second time. But due to technical difficulties, this is the video I'm uploading instead. I'm so sorry it's a little late. Looks like the world will never get to hear me mangle the French language or proclaim my undying love for Estelle every time she pops up on screen, but you get the gist. If you want the cliff notes, I can see The Witch's Bakery becoming the indie darling of 2026. Its story is strong, its messaging is inclusive, the art style is spellbinding, and barring any unforeseen delays, it will be releasing on all major platforms later this year. While the demo itself is on Steam, players who own a Switch, PS5, or Xbox will be able to enjoy the full game when it drops. The Witch's Bakery centers on Lune, a young heart witch who started her own bakery with the help of her best friend, a morph named Oreo. There are 3 types of magic or voices in Lune's world, and those who can do heart magic are, as you may have guessed, attuned to the feelings of others. Lune can use her delicious desserts to soothe fractured emotions and rid them of regrets, things that cling to the human psyche and seem to take 3 forms: sadness, fear, and anger. Lune's special gift means she can actually travel inside people's heart palaces and dispel their regrets, all of which are attached to one of the 3 aforementioned emotions. You'll get to handle each one for various customers, though some have bigger regrets than others and need to be handled with care. AKA, you have to get to know them better before you can help them heal. At a glance, The Witch's Bakery reminds me of Inside Out, Atlantis the Lost Empire, and of course, Kiki's Delivery Service. But it blends those things and doesn't feel derivative, offering a fresh new twist by combining those ideas and aesthetics instead. I really loved it, because it was so immersive and because of the inclusion of Estelle. I really felt seen in a way that doesn't often happen for me when I'm interacting with media. But I'm getting ahead of myself again, so let's talk about the time management aspect of the game. Your day will be divided into 3 sections. The first is working in the bakery, during which Lune is responsible for kneading dough, serving customers, and dealing with random regrets. Next, after work, you'll have time to explore Paris. You can visit one of the charming shops, hang out with friends, or read magic lore during your free time. When it gets late, you'll head back home and hang out on the roof, wherein you can read, bake, or even just quietly enjoy the view before turning in for the night. While the game itself is a beautiful feast of 2D art, its story is surprisingly solid. The characters are interesting, the magic system is unique, and the time management feels like a careful weighing of options, rather than a restrictive mechanic meant to artificially limit players from exploring its full potential. It's clear that everyone Lune meets has a story, from her old teacher, Mr. Galdari, to the furniture shop owner, Judith. Mr. Galdari, by the way, looks exactly like the result of a tri-bred experiment gone wrong mix of Yzma, Llama Cusco, and Spider-Man, but let's move on from those visuals. While everyone you interact with clearly has an interesting life, not all of them will become your friends. You can become an older sister figure for Mr. Galdari's young apprentice, Marimbi, a willing ear for Judith, and if you want to, more than friends with characters like Estelle. But everything relies on the choices you make both in and out of the bakery. There are other romanceable options besides Estelle, by the way. She's just the only one we get to meet in the demo. And the best. So there's that. As you progress through the week and get to know more people, you'll also have the ability to learn more spells, which will help you heal others. And it soon becomes clear that though she loves her work as a magical baker who heals people with food, Lune is also carrying her own emotional weight. I must confess, while I'm usually the most hyped for the story and how it bolsters the character of Estelle is the reason why I bothered to wishlist this and quietly follow the development. As you can tell, Estelle is in a wheelchair. While the demo doesn't tell us why, and we barely scratch the surface of Estelle's heart palace, I am beyond impressed with her portrayal so far. When we first notice Estelle, she turns away from the bakery. The next day, when she returns, we discover that part of the reason she left is because of the lack of access. Lune has Oreo magic up a ramp so Estelle can enter, and it's such a small, inconsequential thing. It really is. But after years of watching physical disability representation that struggles with the actual representation part, this was really nice to see. Able-bodied actors rarely steer manual chairs the correct way, and why would they? They don't actually need them, and the storylines offered just don't resonate. But Estelle's did. I've had her exact same experience, where I went somewhere with friends only to discover there was no ramp. Just like her, I insisted it wasn't a big deal, even if it meant I wouldn't actually be able to get inside, because I didn't want to bother the employees or make a big deal or be perceived as difficult, and a little part of me even resented needing the extra accommodation when everyone else could clear the single step near the door. In The Witch's Bakery, Estelle is portrayed as sensible and polite, but also as a capable math whiz who, in the face of generosity via the gift of a magic ramp, offers accounting services for the price of some fresh-baked croissants. The massive regret hanging around her shoulders is the first one we see Loon can't just dispel in one shot. Her story, her inner world, is far more complex than a lot of the other characters. As I mentioned earlier, I did ask the devs a host of questions about Estelle, her character, and her story, and if I have permission to share their answers, I'll make a separate video doing so. I cannot wait for more people to play this and see a very normalized version of someone with a physical disability just, living their life without fanfare. I also can't wait to meet the rest of the diverse cast. Based on social media and sneak peeks, I know there are other friends and potential partners that Loon can meet as well. We just weren't introduced. For what it's worth, starting with Estelle and her story is the entire reason I will be buying this game as soon as Steam lets me. If you enjoy magical mayhem, time management games, bakery sims, or cute, wholesome games that earnestly connect with the player and mindfully remind you to look both outside of and inside of yourself while practicing empathy, The Witch's Bakery is something I'm willing to bet the rest of my cat's treats that you will love with your whole heart. For reference, he just ate the last of his treats and I rush ordered more for tomorrow, but the point remains. The Witch's Bakery is a thoughtful, gentle game swooping in just when the world needs it most, and if you're going to be playing, let me know down in the comments. If you've made it this far, thanks so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this, and also, I want to know, if you had magic powers, what would they be and why? I hope you're having a day as incredible as this demo, and I'll see you next time.